right, today we are diving into a tool called Coda. And listen, this thing makes a huge promise to completely take over your workflow and basically become the brain, the central nervous system for your entire team. It's a bold claim, so let's get right into it.
So let me start by asking you something. Does your day-to-day work feel like you're just jumping around? From Slack to your email, over to Google Docs, then back to your project management tool? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. All that constant app switching, it's a huge hidden killer of productivity.
And there's actually a name for this mess. It's called the collaboration tax. Think about it. It's the price you pay for having your team's important info scattered all over the place. It just destroys focus and can bring projects to a grinding halt. And that is the exact problem Coda is designed to fix.
Okay, so how does Coda actually plan to solve this chaos? Let's jump straight to the point. For all you busy leaders out there who just need the bottom line right now, here's the 60-second verdict.
So what you're seeing here really gets to the heart of the deal with Coda. On the one hand, you get these amazing workflow automations, you get to ditch a bunch of other apps, and its AI is super powerful. But, and there's always a but, right? The trade-off is that it has a pretty steep learning curve once you get into the advanced features. And, yeah, its offline functionality is limited. So at its core, you're trading a little bit of simplicity for a whole lot of power.
All right, let's get under the hood and really see how Coda works. The best way to think about it isn't as just another app. It's more like a box of Legos, a set of building blocks that let you create your team's very own custom-built operating system.
Everything in Coda starts with something they call a doc. Now, when you first see it, it looks just like a normal document, right? Something you type in. But here's where the magic happens. This isn't just a piece of paper. This canvas can hold live, interactive tables, buttons you can click to make things happen, and even controls to change what you and your team are looking at. And that brings us to the real powerhouse of Coda, its tables. I want to be super clear here. These are not just spreadsheets. Think of them more like the heartbeat of your projects. They're like a powerful, interconnected database that pumps live, structured data to every corner of your workspace. And that is what really separates Coda from just being another fancy document editor. Now, woven into all of this is Coda AI, and it's pretty cool. It's like having an automated assistant living right inside your doc. Imagine this. It can instantly summarize those super long meeting notes, pull out a list of action items, or even draft that project update you've been putting off. It's a huge time saver on all that admin stuff.
So where this all comes together is in automations. They use a really simple if this, then that kind of logic. Like, for example, when someone changes a task status to done, boom, Coda can automatically fire off a notification to your team's Slack channel. Just that one simple role means no more manual check-ins. It just keeps everyone in the loop automatically.
Okay, so Coda is clearly powerful, but the million-dollar question is it actually the right tool for your team? Let's figure that out. We're going to look at a couple of different types of users and some real data on how it performs under pressure. Let's start with, say, a startup operations manager. For that role, Coda is an absolutely excellent fit. You can build that single source of truth for all your projects and company knowledge, and it'll scale right alongside your team as you grow. The best part? You can do it all without juggling a dozen different apps. Okay, now what about someone in a big company? An enterprise PMO lead, for example. Here, it's a strong fit, but, and this is important, with a few big caveats. You will absolutely need to be on their enterprise plan to get critical security features like single sign-on and audit logs. And the key to making it work, don't try to boil the ocean. Start small. Roll it out in one department first, then expand.
But let's talk about performance when you really start to scale things up. We looked at some load time tests, and here's the deal. With 1,000 rows of data, it's lightning fast, no problem. At 5,000 rows, still feels really snappy. But once you push it up to 20,000 rows in a single table, you're going to start to feel it. A noticeable lag starts to creep in.
And that brings us to this really important number, 10,000. The general warning is that once your tables get bigger than 10,000 rows, performance can really start to take a hit. And that's especially true if you've got a lot of complex formulas crunching numbers in the background. It's just a key limitation you have to keep in the back of your mind.
So what about the big competitors like Notion and Airtable? How does Coda fit in? Well, the easiest way to understand it is to look at what they were built for first. Notion, at its heart, is a wiki for managing knowledge. Airtable is a straight-up, powerful database that just happens to look like a spreadsheet. Coda? Coda tries to find that sweet spot right in the middle.
And this handy chart really lays it all out. You can see Coda is the clear winner when it comes to AI and automation. Airtable? Well, it's the undisputed king of raw database power. No contest. And Notion? It's probably the easiest one to just pick up and start using. So, when should you choose Coda? You pick Coda when what you really need is to build custom apps and workflows that makes documents and data together. Okay, time to bring this all home for the final verdict. We're not just going to talk about how powerful Coda is, but also, and this is super important, the common traps you need to watch out for to make sure you actually succeed with it.
And here's a fantastic warning I came across. Beware of creating automation spaghetti. You know what I'm talking about? That tangled mess of rules that makes perfect sense to you, but is an absolute nightmare for anyone else on your team to figure out, let alone fix if it breaks. The lesson? Keep your automation simple, and for heaven's sakes, document them.
All right, and here's the other huge mistake people make. It's called the monodoc trap. It's so tempting to try and build one single giant doc for the entire company. Don't do it. It'll get slow, clunky, and just totally unmanageable. The pro tip is to use what they call a multi-doc architecture. That just means you have separate, linked docs for different teams or projects. So what's the bottom line? Well, the final scorecard gives Coda a really strong 8.8 out of 10. It scores super high on its core features and security. The only real ding is on performance, but again, that's only when you're dealing with massive amounts of data. And that really brings us to the final question you need to ask yourself. Look, the idea of having one single place for everything, a single source of truth, it's the dream, right? But with Coda, all that power comes with complexity. So the real question is, for your team right now, is that dream worth the investment in learning and setup time? How you answer that is how you'll know if Coda is the right move for you.